Okay, in Chapter 3 we're going to be learning all about atoms. This first section we're going to kind of look at the history of the development of atomic theory. So we're going to learn about things like the law of conservation of mass, Dalton's atomic theory, and we're going to spend some time looking at the law of conservation of mass and the laws of definite and multiple proportions. First, the law of conservation of mass. We should have already looked at this and also done an experiment where we've verified this law. But to review, the law of conservation of mass just states that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change forms. The law of definite proportions tells you that for any chemical compound, you're going to find a ratio of the masses of the combining elements. So for instance, water always has a certain percentage of oxygen for any amount of water. There's always a certain percentage of hydrogen in that water. The law of multiple proportions is slightly different than that. That deals with when you have multiple compounds formed from the same elements. For instance, here we are looking at carbon and oxygen. So two ways that carbon and oxygen can combine. They can combine in a 1-to-1 ratio, which would give you carbon monoxide, or they can combine in a 1-to-2 ratio, which would give you carbon dioxide. So that is the law of multiple proportions. You're going to get these whole number ratios even when it makes multiple kinds of compounds. Next, we're going to look at Dalton's atomic theory. This was an early theory. There have been some adjustments made to this, and we will talk about those later. But this was our first really good explanation for how atoms work and how compounds and substances are composed. So he had kind of 5 main points to this. The web quest you did, I think, stated it as 4 postulates, but your book has 5. The first one is that all matter is made of atoms. The second postulate is that atoms of the same element are identical. Third is atoms are indivisible, which means they cannot be broken down. Fourth is atoms combine in simple whole number ratios. And fifth, in chemical reactions, atoms are rearranged. So when we meet in class, we're going to discuss how these things have changed a little bit over the years.